It's happening again where the elites fly in private jets to meet up to tell us how much it's going to cost us to
be carbon neutral,
to save the planet from all the pollution that they have caused from their businesses and their lifestyles.
And then they're going to tax us, and that'll make it, by us giving them money, that's going to make it better.
Yeah, and it's
which pisses me off, because he's going to Glasgow. I got to do a seminar there, and I'm sure the plane he went on isn't full. So as a taxpayer, I should have got a lift. I could have got my own way home. The promoter would have paid my way home, but if he's taken like one of those commercial planes there, and it's only him and a few ministers, and it seats 200, why couldn't I go on it?
No, I just and like I don't know if you know him. He's a former UFC fighter, Michael Bisping. Really nice guy from England, down to earth, working class, but you know, he's sort of in the media now. And
does he get stuck into him?
No. Well, he's like posted, like, seeing something about a mountain and heard things about climate change, and it's like, oh, we're at this turning point, the world's going to end, and whatever. And
well, Al Gore, according to Al Gore, remember when he did that movie?
Yeah.
Unconventional Truth, whatever?
Yeah.
Where's all the shit underwater that he predicted? He said this would be underwater, that would be underwater. All these politicians and world leaders that say this is going to be underwater, and then when you look into where they live, they've got houses by the beach, houses. Why are you buying a house by a beach? And then how can you, like you said, when they say studies, the best study ever is, like, I see these people who, in America or Norway, for like generations, 100, 200 years, their family's been fishing and fishing. And since the camera's ever been around, and there's photos of the water level, and a little shack by the fucking thing with the boat tied up, now 150 years later, it's a newer house and shit, but the water level's still the same fucking height as it was back then.
Yeah, no, there was someone did that with, there's oyster farms in somewhere, and the oysters only grow at a certain
can only be
level,
under,
and they never moved their oyster leases.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's parts of the world where there are, and back to that Michael.
Well, why isn't Venice underwater?
Yeah, well,
the city of Venice, like, well, the way they're talking, like, of course, the building should be fucking underwater by now.
But you know, using that Michael Bisping as an example, his solution to the problem was that he was going to sell his supercharged Range Rover and buy a Tesla. But like, that just sums it up in that he's actually going to create more pollution. Yes, the car's going to run on electricity, but the battery. But the car, you're going to have to build the car. That's all done. It's not done with wood, solar power and all that. It's done, you know, like
from factories.
But yeah, you got to mine all the materials to make that new car, and
the batteries for the new car.
And then at the end, like, no one's ever.
The batteries can't.
Yeah.
They don't fucking go back into the earth.
So my theory is that in 20 years' time, we're going to be having this. The elites are going to fly around and say, you know, all these batteries that we've got now that are running electric cars, it's the greatest threat to humanity. It's poisoning all our water. We have to move to the next thing, which they're selling. So they made their money off all the electric stuff, and then now they'll sell whatever the next thing. All the while, the
silly thing is, we're always going to have fuel, like from coal and coal mines. A lot of countries are doing it now. China's doing it. Rather than close it all down and try and stop it, they've come up with better ways now of how to store the waste, or how whatever's coming off from a fuel factory, rather going into the air, now it goes through all these other processes where the only thing coming out is steam. So rather than say we've got to stop this and stop that, why not look into ways of whatever's coming out, the pollution coming out? Like I said, they're going through different processes now when there's no pollution coming out at all anymore. So, and how many jobs are you going to lose if you got rid of all the oil jobs and coal? Well, that's it. They've got to mine for minerals to make everything.
Yeah, no, that was my thing. It's like, I'm
Like these people that go, oh, this and that. Everyone's got an Apple iPhone, don't they? And shit like that. These women that see out there protesting about climate change and carbon, and you got your fucking babies with you. How many disposable nappies are you using, you fucking mole?
no.
If you're not using a cloth nappy, shut up.
I just think it's like it's consumption. If we just consume a bit less, it doesn't matter.
That's the thing, like the iPhones. I was just saying the other day to someone. How many of these probably get wasted because every year they bring out a new one. I got to get the new one. Well, this one's like 3 years old. I was thinking of the new one, then I thought, why? This one still works perfectly. I don't need the iPhone 13 if this one's working, but yet I got to get the new one. And the thing is, they make shit now. I remember my grandparents' washing machines. It seemed like it went for 25 years.
No, longer. Like I talked to my dad about it. We had a washing machine for like 30 years, made in Australia.
And now they're probably, 5 years and something starts playing up on it. And sadly, to get a technician out or the plumber out or whoever to look at it and fix it costs more than buying a new one. Well, so people just go, throw it away, get a new one.
That is exactly what my theory is. Like, it's like, why are we worrying about, we can burn coal, we just don't burn as much because we don't need to make as much because we recycle more, we're using it more, and I've heard interesting talks by people that study it, that carbon in the atmosphere is actually can be a good thing in that it just can make everything grow.
Well, those places that had the most carbon, their forests and shit were the greenest and...
Yeah. Oh, and also, say for Australia, we're going to sign up to this thing where we're going to have zero emissions, but we're comparing ourselves to a European country or America. Like, we're isolated down here. And we've got this massive country, so it's like we've got to run off a generator. So we can't afford to be choosy down here. We've got to
Here's an idea: every time a baby's born, plant 3 trees worldwide. That's another thing. That's the biggest threat to the world is overpopulation, but they don't want to talk about that.
Well, even then, they say every person can live on a quarter-acre block. You'd fit everyone in the world on a quarter-acre block in Texas.
How about Australia? Because look at the inland of Australia.
Yeah.
You go to Vegas, you go to Palm Springs, you go to Dubai or some of these other places where they've channeled water in.
Yeah.
Look at the middle of Australia when it rains. Have you seen the flowers and how green it is?
Yeah.
All this bullshit and years we've wasted doing nothing. You could have built dams out there. You could have funneled water into those areas and started building places out there for people to live and make manufacturing out there, jobs out there, start communities where there's so much land out there that is fertile once it gets watered. It's like some of the richest, grounds out there because of all the minerals and shit. So,
no, well, but I guess the irony of all this is there's this climate emergency, but is this the coldest start to spring? And
well, I've never mentioned that. It's like even Vegas had it. There's places in America that had all these freak snowstorms through their summer. But they never mention it when it snows or freezing cold. But you get one extra hot day. Oh, climate change, the global warming, because you get an extra hot day. But yet there could have been 20 extraordinary below freezing freak storms of snow and ice that, we never had that before. But they don't talk about that because wasn't there meant to be an ice age for a while? I was saying it was going to be an ice age and they went to global warming.
Yeah. Oh, this guy, I probably talked about it before, but he forecasts the weather based on the alignment of the planets. And when you think, you got these big things moving out.
Look at last week. Last week they told me for 4 days there was going to be fucking thunderstorms. Each day it fucking was sunny. I was going to do the laundry. I didn't do it. I looked at my thing. Said rain. Next day I come out. Okay, it's a few grey clouds. I won't do nothing. I go to the gym, come home. Fucking bright as anything. It's like, you pricks can't tell me the weather tomorrow, but you want to tell me how it's going to be in 20 fucking years from now? You can't even tell me what... You look at the thing now, it says windy and sunny for the next 4 days. I bet tomorrow you look at that, it'll probably be 2 days sun, the other 2 rain now. So you can't even get that right. But listen here, in 20 years, it's all about fucking money. That's all it is. Just another way to try add money on. It's like that carbon tax when they brought that out. What a load of bullshit that was. That destroyed a few businesses, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, look, my thing is, look, I'm as I said before, I'm deeply skeptical because all these things, they all involve, like Al Gore's made millions off this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going to happen with this move to net zero is all the banks, all the manufacturers, all the miners, it's just going to be a boom because everything's going to be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
It's all going to go to battery, this, and this, and it's just going to be this second, like we had the steam engine, oil. So they're just
Did we tax the horse and cart when we went to Henry Ford made a car?
So yeah, it's just going to be this thing, and then we'll move down this path, and then they'll go, oh, hang on, no, there's this problem now.
But it's like I said, if they're so worried about it, every country right now, the most basic thing they could fucking do, even here in Australia, because we've got lots of sun, and I don't know why, someone tell me why, every new housing estate that's built, they aren't built with one of those water tanks beside it, the thin ones that just go up against the side of your house, so for watering your yard or washing the car or emergencies, and a few solar panels on the roof. Why isn't every house built with that?
Well, in regards to the solar panel, we had Australia had a big part in the development of them,
mm-hmm.
but now China makes them all.
Oh yeah.
And so, like, I'm dubious about the quality and
But why isn't every house just automatically, they have to say, you got to have, say, 3 kilowatts worth on every house. That way, if you use it good in the off-peak times, or if you're not using it, then it's helping put electricity back into the grid and shit. So that way, if every house has it, we should never have a power problem. When we do need a lot of power, it should be there for everyone to fucking get. But it should just be a law that every house has solar panels put on the roof when it's built.
No, well, one of the things I always thought was good, because different colours attract heat and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said, "Oh, why don't we?"
Well, someone said there is a paint now they're doing that can.
No, but
like
just paint all the roofs white.
Yeah, so it reflects.
Yeah. I don't know if that works or whatever, but I do know you do see houses in newer states that are dark colours,
mm-hmm.
and in Australia,
just pour the heat in.
Yeah. So things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just looking for a complicated solution to a.
Remember the old days used to have the Ream solar hot water things on the roof and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd probably be better, where you get most of your water heating just done
mm-hmm.
from the sun. Cause
I saw one guy did it himself. He which you can do. He got I forget how many meters of just normal garden hose, and he just put it from his tap, ran it just all over his roof. Another guy did it inside his roof, just back and forth, just not nailed it down, but clipped it down. So he had it like a dark hose. You couldn't even notice it on the roof. Back and forth in their showers at night. They got the hot water from that, because during the day if the sun's out, the water in the hose, you know how hot it gets.
Yeah.
And if you come out of a shower head, not much is pouring out, so they never really had to get hot water. He just did it himself that way, just by having a normal hose.
And also that takes some of the heat from going into the
mm-hmm.
house. Yeah, look, they're the things that they don't want you to know that stuff because it's cheap. It's
oh yeah, well, even like I said, I've seen one guy. I think you can buy from camping stores, where it's like that big silver bag and you fill it with water and it comes with a shower head on the end of it.
Yeah.
You just hang it outside in the sun and it just pulls the heat into it. Because I said, you put a bucket of water out on a hot day, in 2 hours the bucket of water is warm as anything.
Yeah.
So you put this thing outside or wherever you want, and you just hang it up and it's full of water. By the end of the day you've got your hot water for your showers and stuff. And yep, like I said, a water tank's perfect, because when we go through summer water shortages, every house should have one, so when it does rain you get a lot of the rainwater off your guttering going into a storage tank.
Well, simple things like, we don't do recycling over here. You see in like Germany and Japan,
mm-hmm.
like they're so particular with everyone separates their
mm-hmm.
their things, and I remember
a lot of people don't do here too, because what is it to take say you want to take a load of shit to a tip somewhere for recycling, they charge you to fucking take it there, and then they make money from it.
Yeah. No, that's what I'd be looking at, recycling things. But ultimately, what's going to happen to Australia? Like, you know, we're going to have to deal with this. We're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this. And we're going to have to deal with this They're going to enforce all these rules. It's going to be cost too much to manufacture stuff over here. It's going to be manufactured in China.
It already is.
Where they've got no pollution controls. Then we're going to ship it in.
Well, first we send them all the raw materials to make it, and then we buy it back.
So ultimately, it's going to be...
But right now, really, China, they said fuck you to the world. Now they could cripple the world. Yeah. Us, America, anything.
Yeah. We're only lucky that it's mutual dependence.
Mm-hmm. But if they ever found another place we can get raw minerals from Russia. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's...
If those two hook up, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you said, everyone's putting their eggs in one basket, and our manufacturing's... Well, look, when COVID first hit, and was it the first 6 months of COVID, how we found out how much we relied on China.
Yeah, no, it's scary.
Like, what?
Well, that's why I can't believe they're even thinking about it. It's like, we can't do that. We're already at a massive disadvantage. Everything, we're so...
We closed all our manufacturers down. We used to make this and we used to make that. We made everything. Then we thought, what was that thing they came out with where they're helping the third world countries? So in that agreement, places like America and Australia agreed to shut down their manufacturings and put it overseas to help the economies overseas. It's like, well, don't worry about us.
Yeah, no.
And now they're doing it overseas for half the price and shit. Whereas we could do it here, but just the taxes and but the taxes and the shit Australian businesses have to go through. Like if you're in an overseas business and you want to start up here, you get more fucking breaks than the Aussies.
It's if I had a choice, if they could do it, like they make a simple washing machine. It's just basic. It doesn't have all the fancy programs.
Some of those ones now, I look at them. My mum got a new one. I'm like, you need an instruction book. It's like, I just want, remember the old ones that said like heavy cycle, had the dial, heavy cycle, or they said cotton. I don't even think it had cotton. It just said like long cycle, heavy cycle, or long soak. They only had probably 4 different settings on it, and it had hot or cold water. That was it. But now all these ones that are digital, heavy soak, low soak, cottons, fabrics, this, that, this. So I got one at home now. My friend gave me. And it's like that. I just put it on quick wash and cold water. That's what I leave it set on. But even that goes for like 40 odd minutes. I'm thinking, does it really need to? If my clothes only have sweat on them, how long does it take to wash them? It's like, I can understand if you're in a place where you're covered in grease and dirt, you might need longer, but the basic clothes that people wear to work, you're only sweating in them. They're not that dirty. They don't need... Well, there's one cycle there on my machine. I pushed it by mistake and it came up 2 hours 20. I'm like, what the fuck?
You're going to dry cleaner.
In the old days when they used to use, the grandparents would use the fucking scrubbing board, they were clean in fucking 10 minutes. My grandmother had one of those machines that had one dial, and then it had the old fucking...
The roller.
Yeah, you'd put the clothes through and it would just squeeze the water out.
Yeah.
They had that for fucking years and years and years. I used to love doing that, putting the clothes through the roller to squeeze it out. Yeah, but she had one of those washing boards beside the machine, yeah. That machine went forever.
Yeah, you just have this real simple machine.
No one ever had a dryer, just put them on the fucking line.
No electronics. Yeah. And they say, look, we're going to make parts for this for years. You'll have this washing machine forever. You know, we can replace everything on it. And you can replace it yourself.
And that's the thing too now. If you notice some of these companies, you buy these things, in a year or two you go get a part. Oh, they're no longer making them.
Yeah.
They're out of stock, or we don't make that machine anymore. We've moved on to something else. And it's like, oh, so there's no parts? No.
And they're the ones that are telling that, like, that's...
Oh, you got to buy a new one. Oh,
that's the system, you know, like, okay, you guys are doing all this bad stuff.
How long did
buy more stuff
in the old days, how long did your fucking TV last? That big fucking box thing that was like, you know, had like it was built into a box and the speakers and shit. And now even, well, I got a new TV about a year ago, but before that I had a new one. And within 2 years, I had them come out like almost every 6 months. It just would turn off. The colour lines would come on. They had to keep replacing the little thing in the back of it all the time. And so after the 4th time, I said, look, I need a fucking new TV. So they gave me a credit thing. I think I paid extra $200 for a bigger one. Haven't had problems with that yet. But I'm thinking, it's fucking brand new. Why would I be having problems with it? And when they take the back off it, there's not much in there.
Yeah.
It's like a little thing down the bottom and shit. Yeah, but I'm thinking, they just want you to keep buying.
But the whole system is built on,
Mm-hmm.
in 3 years, they bring out new technology, you need to replace it.
Remember, like your LCD was good. Now they got, what is it, the 4K
Yeah.
OLED type screens now, and I'm sure they fucking settle up when you go to the store. Say you go to JB Hi-Fi or any store, I'm sure they get in there and fuck with the contrast and the colours and shit. Because every time I stand there, the TV that's a little bit more expensive, you're like, oh wow, look at the greens and the blues. They're so much more beautiful on this one. I'm thinking they probably got into the colouring on this one and go, fucking just turn the colour down. So like, the colour doesn't look as good. I know it's $500 cheaper, but look at this. This is just incredible. So your eyes are always drawn to that fucking TV. I said, I bet they're fucking with the colours on this one. So sometimes if I got the controller at the store, I go into the settings and I start going, it almost looks like it now. Yeah, but I said, they're just... It's crazy, some of the technology in TV. And they're so fucking thin, the TV. You're like, where the hell's the picture coming from? Now, what is the pixels? Some have all these more pixels now and this and that. And then they got the smart TVs. And it's like, what about these fridges now you can get with the computer on the fridge? And if you're low on something, it fucking messages your phone to let you know you're low on milk. Why don't you fucking look in your fridge? It's like, oh, I got a message from someone. Who is it? Oh, that's just my fridge telling me that I'm low on milk. Have you seen the fridges too where you just tap it and you can see in?
No,
have you seen that one? It's got like a... It looks like just a normal door, but if you tap it, rather than having to open the door, it becomes transparent.
That's Matt's toilet door.
But it's like that. I'm thinking, are we that fucking lazy now that opening a fridge door is like, oh, I don't want to open it to see what's in there. Let me just tap it. I'm thinking, shit. Or you got the ones I said with the computer screens on it, so when you're in the kitchen, what does this ad say? Don't miss a moment of your favourite show and shit while you're in the kitchen. I'm like, oh no, I wouldn't want to miss out on anything. Generally from the kitchen you can hear the TV, or some places are set up where you can see the TV anyway, but it's like, fuck, it's like going in the kitchen to cook. How about you just turn your mind off and cook and have fun?
You gotta be
hold on, I gotta look at Facebook while I'm in the kitchen making fucking cakes.
Yeah.
That's fucking retarded, isn't it? It's just nothing. Now cars too, all the technology in cars.
Yeah, well that's what...
All I want in the car is a radio, and I used to like a CD player, but now this one has the thing where your phone gets plugged in, so you can get text messages, or then you get your fucking WhatsApps coming through. All I want is a radio and navigation. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want fucking anything else. I don't want any other apps popping up on my fucking shit while I'm driving.
No, well that's what I've got. You know, I could replace the head unit, but it's like, oh, that's simple enough. I don't want to get messages while I'm driving. No,
and that's the thing too. You can set it so you can't. You set your phone. So if someone messages, just says I'm driving, they get like a standard message back. Yeah, it's like I don't even want to take phone calls sometimes when I'm driving.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's
but everyone you just see, it's like, oh, I've got to be on my phone and this and that and stuff.
All right, have we had a question come